Hi, everybody. This is Joni with Paperback Exchange Bookstore, 6412 Ridge Road. We're getting ready to interview Claire Cobb Springfield about her book, When I Remember You. She should be jumping into the room anytime, but I just wanted to talk to you about a little bit about what we do here at the Paperback Exchange. We exchange books for credit. You can use those credit to save money. And basically you can just do bop till you drop here. You know, you've got the ability to use your credit to save half on used books. We have a whole wall in the back that's buy one get one free. We have kids picture books that are buy one get two free, and kids chapter books that are BOGO. Teachers get 10% off every time. And thank you to Pasco County and everyone who participates here with your kind purchases. We are able to also donate to Suncoast ASPCA down on Congress, Pasco Pride, the Trevor Project, locally here, Messengers of Hope, who go out and feed families every weekend. The Rose Dynasty Foundation, who Mama Ashley Rose was the MC a few years ago at Pride, and her camp out, and the Rose Dynasty Foundation, and all the stuff that they do. Local artists here, we have a small amount of space that we can use on the walls. If you want to put your art here on commission, we do a 50-50 on that. And all the little libraries in the area. A lot of people have been coming in with the little libraries. So we're right here in Ridgewood Plaza. It's been filling up lately, which is really nice for us. We've got Benny's Seafood Market on one side of us, and Jay's Pharmacy, a long-standing pharmacy that's been there. We've got Elite Computer and Phone Repair. New place around the corner is Jay's Collectibles. They're only open on the weekends right now. Tina's Day Spa, I think, moved in. So we've got almost a full house here at Ridgewood Plaza. So come down, get something to eat at Susie's Restaurant. And we also do our big swag bag sale on Black Friday every year. You buy one of these for $30 and you could fill it up to the hilt. Somebody got about 100 books in there last time, so that was wonderful for them. What else do we do? If you sign up for our program and exchange books and earn credits, we also have an existing customer sale sometime at the end of the summer, where we will send you an email and you will be able to get an additional 20% off your purchases on top of any credit that you've got that you are using. 10% off teachers and vets all the time. We appreciate your service, not only in the armed services, but also in public school systems. And that's just a little bit of what we do here at the Paperback Exchange. We've got over 90,000 books on the shelves. Clean them all off and get them out as quick as we can. We're a little bit inundated right now. We are not having a supply chain issue whatsoever. We're going to interview Claire today, and on June 13th, we are going to interview Ballora Quinn, local author who does gay romance literature. And we are also going to be in July, I believe that is the 18th. We're going to be interviewing Rena Brown. We've had this in the store for a while. This is her brand new Acceptance and Ice. It goes along with Isle of the Dark, Winter Fox, and Tales of the Strange. She's got so much going on here. And then we have a surprise guest that I'm hoping we are going to be able to get scheduled for August 15th here in-house. So you won't want to miss that, because that's a super special guest here for us. And we will hopefully get them scheduled as soon as possible. So I'm going to pause the video here real quick, and we are going to wait to see Claire pop in the room, and we'll be back momentarily. Well, we are still waiting for Claire to pop in here, and I'm going to read the back of her book. This is a book by Claire Cobb Springfield, local author here. In this introspective and fun novel, Claudine Davis wistfully recounts the friendship and healing she gained through an 80s rock star, his music, and his fans. Claudine has experienced a loss and has left her feeling alone and uncertain in the world. And she has resigned herself to the desolation she feels. Then Sydney Watts, a spunky superfan of 80s musician Cliff Wood, where have I heard that name before, comes into her life. The two women begin attending his concerts together, providing a new avenue of joy for Claudine. One night, Claudine meets Cliff in a chance encounter They hit it off and begin casually spending time together. Cliff offers her support, wisdom, empathy, and encouragement, all of which has been missing in her life. But jealousy ensues and threatens Claudine's newfound happiness. Set in New York City and Jamestown, Rhode Island, the story offers a look at unexpected paths to friendship and healing. And here's Claire right now. Let's pull her in here. Do you have your sound on? Down here? Down there? There you go.
Okay, it was saying the host will have to unmute you. And I was like, how do I tell her that?
We're going to pause for a second. And welcome, Claire Cobb Springfield, to our little interview here at the Paperback Exchange.
Hello, cheers.
Good morning, cheers. We have the Some Girls Love Hockey and Swear at the TV. It's me, I'm Some Girls. We were holding our breath last night, weren't we? for Go Bolt.
Well, this is a thrift store Mickey Mouse glass, so.
We love it.
Yeah.
We love Mickey Mouse. Who would have ever thought that?
And thrift stores.
So we'll go along with this charade. Okay, so we talked about what the story was about here with Claudine's newfound happiness. We learned that she met up with Cliff Wood. That name sounds very familiar to us too, and she's got some support, empathy, and encouragement from this newfound friend, but then she's got a little bit of newfound happiness. So let's do the who, what, where, and when, and why. Who are you, Claire Cobb Springfield, and how did you end up with this book?
So, well, I guess I'm an author. I mean, I've been writing since I was really young. I always wanted to put words together, whether it's writing a letter or a book or a postcard. And so, I mean, and I enjoyed telling a story, and I wanted to do something with kind of my background, I guess, in attending concerts and music. And I just kind of kept having all these ideas kind of float around in my head to where they kind of started to piece together. So I just thought, I'm just going to start writing and see what happens. So I kind of
don't stop till you get what you want, right?
Yes, exactly. So I just said, I'm just going to do it. People always say they were going to write a book and they don't have the time or whatever, but you know, I'm just going to write a paragraph a day, a sentence a day, whatever I can do until the story comes out. So that's why that book is here.
Well, wonderful. So the setting is in New York City and Jamestown, Rhode Island. And what do you know about New York and Jamestown? Are you familiar with the area? Did you go visit and do some research?
Well, both. I love New York City, and I just really wanted to have the fun of writing a story that happened in New York City. And I felt like for the musician character, he needed to be in a place where he could, because he's kind of a musician who's been around for a while, and he not really wanting to do these big tours, but he still wants to get out there and play. And I would get these little ideas from other musicians that I like. Rob Thomas, who's the lead singer of Matchbox 20, lives in New York or just outside of New York, and he does these little what I call pop-up shows in my book, where if the fans know him well, they kind of know where he goes and what he does. So I wanted my character to kind of be able to do the same thing, but I didn't really want him to live in New York City. So I did have to do some research on Jamestown for him to live there. And then toward the end of the completion of the book, I went to New York City a couple times because my main character, Claudine, lives in the Village. And I love the Village, but I couldn't really say I'm an expert on it. So we walked around the Village, we drove around the Village, we picked out the apartment where we thought she lived, and we experienced what it would be like for her to walk to the subway and do all the things that I've kind of already written about. And then I went back and just added details to make it more realistic. And
What would be considered method acting? You did method writing then, didn't you?
I guess so. Yeah. Yeah, it was actually two separate trips with two different people. One person, we walked like we were the characters in the book, and another one we drove around. And a couple times she would drop me off somewhere, and I would try to walk from point A to point B to see what I would pass and what I would see and what I would feel. I thought that was a lot of fun. I wish I had done that earlier in the process, but I thought that was a lot of fun.
Well, so as far as how long did it take you to get this put together and get it written and published? We always ask about people's process. Was it a long, slow churn, or did it happen once you decided to do it? Was it pretty quick?
It was kind of a long, slow process. It brewed. I always use the term brewed a lot in my head, like that idea for the story, because I've lived in this suburb of Tampa for about 4 years now, but I already had the idea for the book before I moved here. I remember driving from where I lived in Atlanta, where I worked in Atlanta, to where I lived, and it was about an hour's drive, and I described the whole story to a friend of mine while I was doing that drive, but I didn't start on it until the spring of 2020. I think that's right. Actually, 2021. It took me a little over a year to finish the bones of it, just like to get the story out, because I didn't want to go back and edit and spend a lot of time. So it took me a little over a year to get the bones out, and then about another 6 months to go through the editing process and figure out how I was going to publish it and do all the little tweaking and things that you do to make the story come together, and also find the holes in it, or what characters haven't been built out, or what about it needs to be fixed before you put it out there. So I guess it was about a 1.5-year process altogether.
So knowing it's a state of the heart, this whole writing process, right? Once you, what is your best advice that you can give anybody trying to do the same thing that you just did?
Well, I think it's kind of ties to what I was saying earlier. Everybody always feels like, I think people think they're just going to sit down and the story is just going to come out and they have to have the entire thing figured out from start to finish. But I think you just need to get started. That's really like the best advice, is just get started. Sit down and write a sentence, a paragraph, a chapter, and don't go backwards. Just keep going. Just keep adding to it until you get your story out, because you're going to have, no matter how good you think, any writer, seasoned, best-selling authors are going to tell you the first thing you write is never going to be what you end up with. You're going to go through so many gyrations of it. So I think the best thing is to just get started and then to stay with it. You can't write for like a day and then come back to it in like 6 weeks and write a little bit more, because that is going to cause you to never get finished. I think it's just sticking with it and just believing that you're not going to stop until you get it out.
Right. Sitting down and going through it in one edit, that point is fairly moot at this point.
No, and I think once you start writing, if you really get into your characters and the story and you're excited about it, like, you really can't stay away from it anyway. I know for me, like, I'd be taking a shower and I'd be like thinking about what was going to happen next with a character, and I'd have to jump out of the shower and like write something down, or I'd be driving and I'd call a friend and I'd say, will you text this to me, because I just thought of the perfect sentence that needs to go in chapter 8 or something like that. So I think once you really get into it, the energy flows from the creativity that you put out there, but nothing is going to happen until you get started. And I think it feels like a really daunting process, like to write a book, because even people I know who aren't interested in writing and who aren't even readers are fascinated with how you actually write an entire book. And because it is a commitment, but I think if you really want to do it, it's just like anything. If you want it bad enough, you'll make it happen. If you don't, you'll make excuses.
So do you find that you have to create a space for yourself to write in, or can you just sit down and write anywhere? Some people isolate themselves in this modern world so much, you wonder there's not so many more books coming out.
I think I can do it anywhere where my brain can have quiet. I take care of my mother, and she has dementia. And when I was first writing this, she's progressed to the point where she's quiet and she sleeps a lot. But when it first started, she would be calling out all the time, and it would break my train of my concentration. I've written on planes. I've written in the parking lot of like a CVS. I can write anywhere where my brain can have, the space for it. So I think that I don't really have like a certain room or a certain location. I have laptop, real travel, and words come out.
So you can get signed copies of Claire's book here at the Paperback Exchange. Where else can folks find your book on the shelves or online?
You can order it. You can order it anywhere online that people sell books. The main places are Amazon and Barnes and Noble, but I think that any place that is a platform for ordering books, you can get it. But those are the main places that you can get it from, and they ship it out pretty quickly. There's a hardback option, and there's also an electronic version and a paperback version. So however you like to read your book.
And we support all of those equally because
everybody
needs the best way to read for them.
They do. And that was really important to me when I was trying to figure out how I was going to publish it, because there were some people actually told me I really prefer a hardback for whatever reason. So I wanted to be we offer, several different platforms for people to read it. So
we gave my mom a Kindle when she retired from the library, and about a year afterwards, we were visiting her up in Ohio, and she was reading it, and I looked at her from across the room and I said, "You don't use that very often, do you, Mom?" And she said, "How can you tell?" And I said, "Because you're still licking your finger to turn the page." And she says, "I don't really like it. I can't share books with your Aunt Joyce, which is her twin." So yeah, we support all forms, especially forms of reading that can help people that don't normally read at all. So whatever works, get them.
Yeah, I think it's definitely different for everybody. I have some people who love the portability of the Kindle, and they can carry like 25 books with them at a time. And I have a Kindle app on my computer, and I occasionally read one like that, but I like turning pages, and inevitably I'm going to get lost and I need to go back a few pages and I'll remember it. Like it's on the left side toward the top where they describe that. So it's like a spatial thing for me.
We're running into the point in our technology where some things are available only on Kindle and some things are available only in print. So we just adapt, we just adapt or die. That's basically how that works. So we've got the who, what, when, where, why, obviously, because you love the act of writing and getting the story out there. So basically I saw a couple of reviews, and the one that came to mind to me was somebody that said, if you're looking to get away from the usual vampire, werewolf, dystopian kind of violence, or if you want to just have a feel good story about friendships, we would want you to pick up a copy of When I Remember You, right?
Yeah, and I think if you like music, also if you like concerts, it has those elements you're talking about, friendship and a lot of things, a lot about emotion and feelings, but there's a lot of background in it where these girls that are my main characters, Sydney and Claudine, are out there really into this. You mentioned Cliff Wood at the beginning, really out there trying to infiltrate the fan world of this musician named Cliff Wood. And they don't just go to his concerts. They've got to go out back and find him after the show. And where is he going to go to dinner? And can they just catch a glimpse of him? And ultimately, one of them gets a lot further with that, which is where the story kind of really begins, because one of them sort of gets a little bit more engrossed in that whole world, and that causes some jealousy issues between the two girls. So it's got some friendship element. If you like concerts, it also gives you a glimpse into it, because I've done all those things, and so what I've written about comes from a really real place.
I don't know if your concert stories will be the same as my concert stories. Some of mine were a little bit don't talk to strangers, but we had Legend Valley near our home, so there was all different concerts there every weekend. You never knew who was going to show up, whether it was the bikers or the cloggers or the rock and roll people or the Buffets, the Sharkheads. It was an interesting retrospect in empathy. Let's put it that way.
Well, I like all your references to my favorite musician, because I know a lot of people who have read this have enjoyed a couple of them have called the Easter eggs in the book that if you're not aware, you may not notice them, and if you are aware.
Well, we'll keep that to ourselves for now. Yes. And what I've done here is now that you mention, and I've added in a few, let's say, song lyrics from this artist that we're talking about. So if you can name the song lyrics in the comments below, we'll let this run for a little while, and I'll visit it back in a week or so. If you can name all 7 of the song lyrics that I've referenced and the person that we're talking about as far as the artist, in the comments, I will allow you to go into a pool, and we'll give away one of Claire's books.
Sounds good to me.
So we just had a little bit of fun. I didn't plan
That
that
was
with
fun.
Claire, and I was glad she picked up on
That
it.
was fun. I enjoyed it. Definitely picked up on it. Yeah.
So thank you for visiting us here today. It's
No.
just a little short and sweet. We have pre-recorded this. It will show up as a premiere on YouTube at 6 p.m. on Monday, the 16th, tomorrow at our time that we planned to show it. I've been kicked out of Facebook for some reason that I will never
Such a troublemaker,
apologize
Joan.
for.
Such a troublemaker.
And whatever, they're just making me more proficient on Zoom and TikTok and everything else by punishing me. But
That's
thank you.
okay. But thanks for taking the time and showing your interest, and I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much. And you can get copies of her book here on Amazon. We will be watching at 6 p.m. on Monday when this shows. So if people have questions, you will be directly talking to myself as well as Claire. I hope Claire can join us for a little bit of time tomorrow afternoon at 6 p.m. We will show it on Facebook. It'll be a YouTube video that you'll be able to watch along with us. So thank you so much for joining us today,
All right.
Claire.
Thank you.
And sleep less, read more, and
Indeed.
wash your hands. And if you didn't catch it before, don't talk to strangers.
All right. Bye.
Thank you so much.